Unless I'm like just crazy. Because I know that they do sell unripe lemons around here, which are green. And like they're labeled as unripe lemons. They're supposedly for like mixed drinks and stuff.
German. Wait, does German distinguish or does a different language distinguish? Now I'm super confused.
Because I've also had people tell me that limes are lemons that aren't ripe yet, and that always hurts my brain. Because I refuse to believe that's true.
Exactly. Limes. That's not the same. They're different. Limes are not lemons.
But then there's some countries that like refer to limes and lemons as the same thing.
Huh.
Okay.
If anybody out there that is listening to this episode right now, if anybody out there knows more about this, please drop us a DM.
Citrus is a mess. But you know what isn't as much of a mess as citrus is? The Halcyon Frequency podcast.
What is it?
I lost count of what episode now. Is this episode 7? This is episode 7. Airing on February 27th, 2022. I'm blind and I'm hosting this thing, and I'm here with 2D Kiri. How are you today?
Next question. Well, hello.
FG, how are you today?
Hi. Pass.
Right. Okay, I will do the same. We're all here. We're recording a podcast. It's a little messy right now, but we got a lot of demos to talk about because the Steam Next Fest started. So we're just gonna kind of skip the rambling today because this is a very, very, very long list of questions. Not questions.
Demos.
Games.
Demos.
Yeah.
Same thing. Question: do you like game? Yes, no. Move on. Who wants to start with one? Because I think that we've all kind of got like a pile of things that we have or have not played.
I have a pile, yeah.
So just start at the beginning, I guess. We'll just kind of work through.
Yeah, sounds good.
Kiri, do you want to grab one from the beginning of your list, or should we start with?
I thought FG's going to start because she has so many here.
Okay. Yeah, I did.
So,
I did.
Yeah, maybe
I did
best.
3 stream days of demos, and I could have done a 4th today if I had streamed today. Honestly, there were a lot of demos that appealed to me that I picked, and I didn't even get to all of them. Some I skipped because it's like, this game is coming out next week or next month or in like 2 months. So I was like, I'll just wait until the full game comes out. I'll just look at games that are maybe a little bit further away. But let's get started. First thing I played was Halcyon, which is basically it's being described as Frostpunk in space. You get to manage a giant space station, and you have to make decisions and build up your colony and all that sort of stuff. And the decisions are kind of sort of what it is, kind of like makes it a little bit closer to Frostpunky because you can, there's a little bit of morality in there, I guess. Comes out later this year. And the demo is about an hour long. It's relatively short. I didn't mind it. Didn't hate it. Didn't love it. Visually, it's absolutely stunning.
So I installed this one purely because of the visuals, like you were just saying.
Stunning.
I haven't gotten around to playing it yet because there's a few people in my chat that keep like having to go to bed that really want to see me play it, so I just kind of haven't done it yet. I'm now like kind of debating as to whether or not I just want to wait for the whole game because like I think I said this like on another episode of this podcast, but like I really 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 want games that are like The Expanse, and visually this looks like The Expanse. So
yeah,
even if it's just like pretty sci-fi stuff with blah gameplay, I'll probably
yeah. So visually it's absolutely stunning. Like the solar system view is glorious with like, because you have like the sun in the middle and there's like you see the coronal mass ejections like going off into space and all that sort of stuff is super pretty. Gameplay wise, it needs work.
What's the name of the? It looked kind of like that circular space station game that they made.
Startopia.
It looks kind of like that.
The inside is kind of like that. Gameplay wise, it still needs work because there's some like super unintuitive ways of doing things. Like it tells you like to build a food storage, and you build the food like you build a storage, and then it doesn't tell you to build roads to the resources that are scattered on the map, because apparently there's like just resources scattered where you're building. So then you build a road there, and then it doesn't. Then you would assume that the robots go and would take the stuff and put it into the storage, but they don't. You have to click the little floating symbol above like the goods or wreckage or whatever you want to call it, and then they will go and collect it. Like there's just tiny things like that are just like, no. It's just not. I don't know if it's an earlier build like the demo, and it's like, I don't know. It just doesn't feel quite ready. Also, WASD, the movement is completely messed up inside the space station for whatever reason. It's like, first you think it's like along the axis, but then it's also not. And it's like just completely messed up. Like pressing like A goes like top left, for example. Like it's really weird. So visually stunning. Gameplay sort of, we'll have to wait and see. But that might just be because it's an older demo, like an older build.
So I'll just say this out again for anybody who may have missed it. That is Ixion, which is Ixion.
Correct, yeah.
If anybody wants to go look that game up.
Yeah. That was that. Relatively short and sweet.
List, I guess.
I'm trying to be short.
Well, I mean, we'll be fine. We'll be fine. We've just got like 75,000 of these left.
Yeah, it's okay.
So
no problem. I've got time.
Okay, I have a really short one. The game's called Fata Diem or Theta Diem, and it looks like a black and white game from back in the day, or at least that's what the gameplay mechanics are. You play God on an island, and there's a tutorial. So I start the tutorial, and like, I don't know, 10 minutes into the game, I just broke it. So I couldn't really continue because the tutorial was stuck and I didn't get to play the game at all. All I did was click on a town, click on a person, and then did some kind of wonder to make that person like me. And then it got bugged. So visually it looks nice. I have no idea how gameplay actually works. It has a really horrible grainy effect when you pause the game, which is completely unnecessary. Yeah. And then I heard from other people that the tutorial bugged out for them too, so we don't really know how that game plays.
Yeah,
No,
you don't. No, you go.
I was just gonna say that I had a few people recommend me try this one, and I looked at the screenshots and I made it to screenshot number 7, and that dude looking at the camera is so terrifying. I just kind of decided maybe this one won't be for me. And I like black and white, but it's also one of those games where it's like, I feel like black and white is more like rose tinted glasses than anything. Like as a game concept, it was really cool, but actually going back and playing black and white, it doesn't age that well. So when people try and make black and white now, I always kind of go, so I don't know. I think I'd wait for reviews on this one.
Yeah, I did not touch this one myself. Lex played it though. Lex, aka my partner Lex. And I kind of glanced over his shoulder, and I think he kind of had the same issues, basically.
Yeah, it's so strange. Like, I wanted to try it because I thought, if that's like black and white, that's probably cool. But I don't know.
Yeah.
God games are a weird one.
Maybe it just needs a little bit more time in the cooker, or it's an old build, but... Considering that's also coming out this year, that always makes me a little bit hesitant then.
Yeah, that doesn't look... Just looking at screenshots in the trailer, Fata Diem does not look like a game that should be coming out this year.
So it might be early access.
What do
I don't know.
I'm not a game developer. Actually,
I don't know. Let's check.
Steam page looks like full release.
Yeah.
Oof.
Yeah, it does. Yep.
Yeah, I'd be careful with that.
I will say that same publisher has other games coming out supposedly Q2 this year that I want to play, which don't have demos. So. Why didn't they put out a demo for Falling Frontier instead? That's all I'm saying. Anyway.
That does look pretty good, though. Yeah.
That was Fata Diem. Should I do one, or should we keep on going with your 2 longer lists than mine.
I guess I can go.
Sure.
So Reefland, that's reef like the reef in the ocean, REEF land. I can make that one short and sweet. It's like Islanders, but on a hexagonal grid. Very pretty colors, very chill. Plays pretty similar to Islanders. Like if you've not played it, it's like a little puzzle game where you put buildings together to make point, and then you get scored on how well you group things together, because certain things boost each other, certain things don't like each other, and you get points, and then you get more tiles. When you place those, you get more points. If you get enough points, you win the map, you go to the next map. Basically the same concept with Reefland, but on a hexagonal grid. Really pretty, very chill, nice chill puzzle game to play, just when you kind of just want something to chill and maybe listen, like while you're listening to a podcast or something. It was nice. Probably needs a little bit more diversity, I'd say, because right now there's not too much that you can build in terms of like buildings, at least in the demo, but that might also just be because it's a demo build. But no, that was really good. Comes out sometime this year. I really like that one.
I'm looking at the screenshots of it right now, and it does kind of look like a hybrid of like Dorf Romantic and Islanders a little bit.
Yeah. It's really pretty.
The one thing that I will say about this that I don't like is that UI looks like it was made for a tablet, which is fine.
It does, yeah.
But I really wish they'd shrink the buttons down a little bit for the PC version.
True.
But aside from that, it's like, I would totally play this, but I'll wait for the full version.
Yeah, I would.
If it takes off anywhere near the same amount as Dorf Romantic, I'll jump on it for sure. That looks cool.
Yeah, no, it's really chill. And yeah, you don't need to play this right now. It's just that's a play when it comes out.
Wishlist.
Yeah, I wishlisted that one too. Yeah, that was nice.
It's so nice to, after you finish playing those demos, to then go to the Steam store and then just wishlist everything you liked, or remove something that you didn't like from your wishlist that was already there.
Yeah, absolutely.
It's a good feeling.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I really like that one too.
Kiri, you want to tell us about?
Yeah, so I
Heroes
tried
Hour?
that, and it was fun. I like the pixel art style. It's what is it even, like a half auto battle, turn-based run around the world kind of thing. Don't really know how to describe it. The UI is unintuitive, so I hope they're gonna fix that until next week when it releases, because you hire units in a town, so you claim a town first, then you hire units there. But I didn't figure out how to do it, because the tutorial said just, I don't know, go there, hire some more units in that building. So I went to that building. Well, I clicked on that building because you don't actually go around in a town. And I saw their unit, but there was no buy or hire button or anything. And I clicked on the unit and it didn't work. And I left again and I came back to that unit, to that building. And I clicked on the gold button that showed the cost of it and nothing worked. And then I clicked on the max button, because there's a buy one kind of buy max. It just says 1 and max. You have to click on that, but it's not visually different from the rest of it. It doesn't look like a button. So I thought I broke another game. I didn't. It's just I didn't see that this is where I had to click. So that was a bit frustrating. And then during the battles, the camera follows the mouse cursor, which I think is super redundant and made me slightly nauseous, but it's not too bad.
That doesn't make any logical sense. Why wouldn't it just be like a click
I don't
and
know,
drag thing?
or using your arrow keys or WASD, but no, it follows the mouse cursor. And the weird thing is, when you run around in the world, it doesn't do that at all. So they just, I don't know. So that's odd. And the UI is, as I said, a bit unintuitive, but the gameplay was fun.
Question about the battles themselves. Do you have any control, or is it just like you watch the fights
You have
happen?
control in positioning your units before you actually hit the start button and they start fighting. And then you get spells as well that you can use during the battle. That's all the control you have.
All right. The reason I ask is because this game to me very much looks like a combination of Heroes of Might and Magic and Conquest of Elysium. I don't know if either of you guys have played Heroes of Might and Magic. I'm assuming you haven't played Conquest of Elysium, but this is very much something that I want to play, and I will play it when the full version's out. I'm just waiting.
My chat said that this is very much like Heroes of Might and Magic.
Yeah, the way the movement and the like actual building side of it works is very Heroes of Might and Magic, but the battles and the way the armies work is very Conquest of Elysium. So, Conquest of Elysium is much more of a board game type thing. There's like a lot less actually happening on the overworld, and a lot more focused on like unit positioning and like area control. Whereas Heroes of Might and Magic was always more of like kind of like you have a bunch of single little RPG characters running around on a map that build up their own little armies and gain stats and abilities, which was a very neat structure for a game, and nobody else really does that the same way.
Yeah, you have that too. Like your units level up. Actually, I don't know if it's all the units or just your hero, but the hero has a skill tree and experience.
Cool. Yeah, no, I'm curious to play that one.
Yeah, I
coming out next week already.
It was fun.
Yeah, I'm looking forward to it as well. So many games coming out. I said this before we recorded. There's 4 games I want to play that are coming out on the 1st. It's ridiculous.
On the 1st? Wait,
yeah.
Sounds like you need to roll a 4-sided die.
It's a Heroes Hour, Elix 2, Hortcore, and File Lone Tides. All 4 of them are coming out on Tuesday.
Changing Tides, right?
Changing Tides, yeah. The new Far game.
Not to be, confused with the Far Cry games, of course. Because that's a far cry from quality. Anyway, I'm just going to take one real quick. I'm going to talk about a game called Relic Space. Relic Space is too early and shouldn't have a demo. But it's a little game by the same developer who made a game called Xenomarine, which is a traditional roguelike where you play as a little marine in a sci-fi setting. I haven't actually played that one. I played a demo build of it when it was unfinished and then never played the finished product. It was a very quiet release. It didn't make a huge amount of buzz, but I do know that there's a few people who love that game and swear by it. So I've been kind of curious about Relic Space because it's a very different setting for a roguelike. It's a hex-based space combat game where you are managing a bunch of meters on your ship and then later on ships. It's got all of the roguelike trappings, but it's just far too early and just feels like a very unfinished alpha and doesn't feel like something that should have a demo yet, which is, I think, a bit of a shame. But that's just kind of my take on it. The writing is a little but gameplay-wise, it seems interesting for what it is.
All right.
And that's Relic Space.
All right. Literally, well, short maybe, but sweet. Next game that I played on my list was Battle Cakes. All one word. And Battle Cakes, let me check. I think, no, it's also coming out this year. I thought it had a release date already, but it doesn't. So, Battle Cakes is a very, 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 very cute turn-based RPG with way too many puns.
So basically, what do you do? Because I don't know what it is, right? But you say battle cakes. Now,
yes,
do you fight with cakes or for cakes?
No, you are a cake. You are a cupcake. You are everybody's literally a baked good in this world.
Okay.
And basically, it just takes your, sort of stereotypical adventure story. Like, hero sets out to save the world.
You're the chosen cupcake.
You're the chosen cupcake,
wow.
Yes. And you can customize your character. Like, you can choose your frosting and your body color. You can have, actually the cherries on top and what you have like in your frosting, that's actually a battle item, like an outfit item.
I love that.
I'm looking at a screenshot of this right now, and there's under like the battle menu for commands, there's slice, dipes, and chop like crazy.
Yeah.
Chop like crazy is an attack.
Yes. And everybody has like cake names. Like your friend is called Red Velvet. They're a Red Velvet cupcake. And then You fight like pastry animals as well, and there's just like jelly roll cats, and it's just.
There's something about a cupcake holding a crossbow that I find very amusing.
Yeah, it's just really wholesome. The art style's really cute, and yeah, it's a feel good RPG where the hero saves the world, but the hero is also a cupcake, and you wield a frosting knife, by the way.
That
Not a
sounds
sword.
amazing.
It's just it's really good. It's really cute. I can't wait to play it when it comes out.
Battle cakes.
Yep.
Kiri, do you want to talk about Iron Oath?
Yeah, sure. Iron Oath. It's got the Iron Oath, and it's a tactical turn-based RPG, I suppose. It's pixel art. The art style is incredible. The animations look really, really good. Unfortunately, I didn't enjoy it because the tutorial is like reading a novella. It's a chore to play the tutorial. There's just everything explains. It's over explained, and you don't have any freedom at all. It's just use this character, move it to that hex, then use that spell on this enemy, and it's just no, let me play this game. So that was very frustrating. You have these battles, and then how you move in the world. So I haven't actually seen the world map because I gave up before I made it. But you start in a dungeon, and for the dungeon you have square tiles, and then you move on to the next one. But you can also decide to just scout ahead, for example. So you don't walk freely in the dungeon, but you just move from one tile to the next, really. And sometimes you've got to fight, and sometimes you don't.
Oh, it's like a Darkest Dungeon style for the dungeon crawling element. Then.
Yeah. No, actually, you're right.
Because in Darkest Dungeon, you're moving from tile to, like the first one, you're moving from tile to tile. Yeah, so it's like it's got like a dungeon crawling element to it, and then also an open world. From
So I read that there's an open world, but I actually didn't see it.
I'm looking at a screenshot of it.
If they could make the tutorial somehow more approachable, that'd be amazing.
Interesting. This looks like something that would intrigue me. Somehow I'm completely
because it has great graphics. The different classes with different skills, and it looks to be really cool and promising. But the tutorial is just too much.
That sounds annoying. Yeah.
I think it's like tutorials are becoming like a theme here almost. It's like there's a very fine line between like not enough tutorial and being too vague, and over tutorializing stuff to the point where I don't want to play it.
Yeah, it's really difficult to find the middle ground there. And I totally realized that. But as a player, you just immediately know if it's too much, if it's not enough.
Yeah. I mean, it's definitely kind of how some people feel about the Warhammer prologue, but I'm sure we'll talk about that later. FG, do you want to tell us about Space Wreck?
Yeah, sure. So, Space Wreck is a CRPG. It's a pixel art CRPG, actually. And the way it was described in the blurb on Steam made it sound really, really appealing, because it's like basically it said it's a Fallout-inspired post-apocalyptic CRPG.
This art style's rad.
See?
For Space Wreck.
Yeah, I thought that too when I looked at it first. And like the menu is really cool because it's like old like really old computer style, right? With like the white and like blue text and whatnot. But it is also literally Fallout. The first one, the first CRPG, because it's the first Fallout. If you've not played it, you get sent out from your vault to find a water chip because you've run out of, your water chip's broken. In this game, you'll get attacked by pirates, and you need to find a computer chip, control chip, or whatever. But basically a water chip for your spaceship. and then you set out on a in a shuttle, but then your shuttle runs out of fuel, and then you need to find fuel for your shuttle. So it seemed like a really straight up, like almost like a straight up copy in a way, like at least the setup. And then at first I also thought I really liked the art style, but the longer I looked at it in the game world, the more I could just not get into the art style.
I'm looking at it right now on Steam. It's okay. I wouldn't say it's anything special, but
I just have a lot of nostalgia for this type of art. That's the problem. Like it doesn't matter if it's any good or not. I just like this type of art.
Yeah, no, it is fine. It's just for some reason, like the way they've done things, certain things look like really cool pixel art, but certain things, the way it's done, it's just really hard to see. It's hard to see sometimes where stuff, like if something is in front of something
Style
or
over substance?
behind it and that sort of stuff.
Mm-hmm.
And because I maybe my eyes just got really strained because of this. I don't know, but I had to stop playing it, not because the gameplay was bad, but because of the art, unfortunately. I really like the art style, like the gameplay style, because it's a CRPG. I really like CRPGs, and when you do like a chat with a person, and there's like a test. It's not just like, oh, you have X point in that, and this one needs, I don't know, you have 10 points in persuasion. This needs 5. You've won. It's actually like, it needs this amount of points. You have that stat. You also roll dice, and then if you're over the stat, then over the threshold, then you get it. So it's like really cleverly done, but for some reason I just couldn't get past the art style.
So what you're saying is if I want to play Fallout, I should just go play Underrail?
Yeah, probably. Probably.
Right. Another wait for reviews, I guess.
Yeah.
I mean, this could be one of those games where it comes out and it pulls like a Cruelty Squad, where it's just like, parts of it are hard to look at, but the game's so good, who cares?
Yeah. Of course, yeah.
So I think it really depends on how good the substance of the actual game is. But once again, that was Space Wreck. Okay, what do we want to do next? There's a lot of stuff on the list here. You guys pick one.
So,
yeah, go.
Okay, I'm going to touch on the next one. TFM, The First Men. And we have different opinions on that one. I think I'm more with FG on that. Like, it looks really cool. Let me see, what is it? It's
a blind game.
It's a city builder-ish. I couldn't figure out how to build anything, so I was just watching at my dudes running around, collecting, I don't know, berries and whatever. And that was that. I honestly did not know what to do.
I figured out how to play the game, but the way you built your colony in this, I found extremely not confusing, that's not the right words, but it's really easy to lose oversight and you just lose track of things, because the way you build things is you don't control your people. They run around, they do stuff, and then by doing stuff they get XP, and then you can level them up. Or you can level them up different paths, and for different paths you get different things. You can get either items or a stat increase, or you can get buildings. But there's like 5 or 6 different paths, and I just found it like the idea is cool.
It's a
Some
lot.
of the art is really cool. Some of the art is also really highly disturbing. I mean, did you look at the horse?
It's disturbing to me. It's disturbing in kind of like a Don't Starve kind of way, where it's like, this is disturbing, but it's charming.
Partially, yeah.
And
then it just gets really, it's just too much, and it's too hard to keep track of things for me.
Did you get Did you get to the point where you had soldiers and you started sending people out to go explore?
No, I gave up before I played 40 minutes, and I was just not having fun because I was just watching them run around, and then every once in a while it was like, I have leveled up, yay! I can now build this building, maybe, but it took forever because depending on what you get for what you roll for level ups. I think I rolled over and over like strawberry fields for some reason, and I didn't make any progress towards building any like buildings of substance.
So I didn't build anything, but I wanted to see some gameplay. So I just drafted some of my people and then sent them out into caves and attacked, like, I don't know, bugs, whatever, to see how that was. So yeah. Cool, I guess. I don't know. It was a lot of information and not enjoyable.
So,
but Blind, what do you think about it?
This game to me feels like playing Dwarf Fortress with auto labor turned on.
Mm-hmm.
So Dwarf Fortress has a setting which is auto labor where dwarves will automatically take jobs based on what they need. And there are some other tools that you can have for Dwarf Fortress that'll make them automatically cut down trees and such. While very few people who play Dwarf Fortress actually use those tools, this game feels like to me it's taken some of those ideas and stretched that into a game. The way the game works is each character has several different paths. They have a green path, blue path, red path, white path, and black path. Each of these paths are a different kind of style of skill. So like red path is very combat and hunting oriented. Green path is very like farming and construction and building. Blue path, I can't remember. I think that's like science. White path is like religion and such. And then black path is like human sacrifices. And essentially the way the game works is everybody kind of goes off and just does their thing. And they passively get experience while they're off doing their thing. And whenever a character levels up, you can select a path that you want them to take, or you can give them a trait. As things happen in the world, they can gain negative traits, and there are certain perks and paths that can remove these negative traits. So you're balancing a family tree and the actual city bit. Like FG referred to it as almost an idle game, which to a degree maybe not wrong, but the way a game works like this is it's all just about automating your city to do the thing that you need it to do. Once you build up to a certain level and you have enough people in the red path, for example, you can then start asking them to craft themselves items within the red path. Or if you've gone far enough into the farming path, then you can start asking them to craft their own gear. And because they start to level up slower over time, you're only ever moving one or two people into a different path. The part where the game, I think, becomes a little bit tedious is when you have like 5-6 people leveling up at the same time and you're forgetting who is who. That is an issue which I think they need to work on. I think the game has some information communication problems right now, but once you get to the point where you start to be able to form up a little party, the city just stays automated, which is why the city is so automated. So they just do their thing, and occasionally you can pop somebody into a new path, but then you say take 4 dudes with spears and you can then walk out and then go cave delving. You can go trade and communicate with other factions. If somebody is bigger and stronger than you, they'll show up and threaten you, and then they will leave a chest, and you have to donate some of your path experience to them, which levels them up in the world, and then they won't attack you unless you can build up enough experience to be able to go and fight them and overtake them. It also has kind of the Don't Starve questing system where you'll find NPCs in the world that can go trigger world events, such as large creatures and monsters from the deep and world-scale invasions. I think that this game is extremely tedious, and I completely agree with both of your criticisms of it. I think it communicates information terribly. It has virtually no tutorial outside of a few boxes of text and some flashing icons that need to be clicked. But I think there's a really, 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 really cool game here if they can communicate to people how to play.
See, from what you said, it sounds really cool and I'm sold. But I also played it myself and no, that's not what you just explained or what you described.
Fair enough.
Yeah, I have the same thing, yeah.
Every time your characters level up, they gain new traits, and new traits give them different tendencies and how they behave around other people. So you've also got a little bit of Crusader Kings there, and you've got their kids inheriting their traits. I don't know. Like it's a super neat.
It sounds really cool when you explain it.
That might be terrible. I don't know.
I just didn't see that in the game.
It just does not emerge.
No. But hey, it's only a demo, so it's still on my wish list. And I'll just wait and see.
I think it's just
wish listed and
I think it's just one of those games that needs once
it doesn't demo very well. I can tell you that.
It doesn't demo very well, and I think it just needs some play testing by people that have no clue what's going on.
It needs to be played by people that aren't making it.
Yeah, exactly. Because it is current in its current form, it is not accessible at all.
Nope.
Mm-hmm. Absolutely. But I'm really, really curious to see the full game for the first man.
It could be interesting for sure. Like yeah, it could lead to an interesting gameplay experience for sure. It's just definitely not there yet at all.
Oh well.
We'll see, I guess.
Who wants to take the next one?
I should probably go. Yeah, I have so many. Yeah. All right. The next one is Tomb Star. That's one word. Tomb, like the tomb, like TOMB star.
Please tell me this is like a Michael Jackson simulator, but you're a mummy.
No, it's
God damn it! I was hoping for a rhythm game.
No, it's actually a top-down run-based game with meta progression, aka what modern people would call a roguelite, but not blind. Sorry.
Wow.
It has really good music. The art style is really charming. Like, the art style reminded me, actually, even though it's a top-down game, the art style and the atmosphere reminded me of WildStar. But I did not play much because it's a top-down roguelike shooter where the camera moves with the mouse.
Oh no.
So it just wibble wobbles everywhere.
You know, I know that the camera moving with the mouse is a pain for you too. I know that it is like a motion sickness issue. But there are some games where that mechanic is like borderline necessary.
It is, and it makes sense. I know where they put it in these roguelike games or in these type games.
It's not a roguelite.
Roguelite, sorry.
It's
Roguelite, sorry. My brain thinks one thing, my mouth says another thing. It happens. It makes sense in these games because enemies will start spawning off screen. And they will start attacking you from off screen as well. So it is a gameplay advantage to be able to move your mouse and your camera around the character.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
And that's okay. I'm just asking for options. Like shout out.
But if they
shout out to the dev of Atomic Crops, which is also a top-down roguelite game. Who said, that makes the game harder, but I'll put the option in. And now I've played 120 hours of that game because that game's really, really fun and good, and they put that option in. I know it makes it harder to play. And I'm not saying don't ever do the wibble wobble cam. It's just options are cool for people.
I just want to shout out Brigador, because not only did they give you the option to lock the camera on the player character instead of following the mouse, even though following the mouse makes the game a lot like more manageable. They also give you a hotkey where you can turn it on and off, like with a toggle, to be able to like jump to where your mouse is to like look ahead if you want to scout and then jump back to your character. They also let you like literally slow down time in that game. So you want to play that game at 10% speed, you can do that.
Yeah, that's option. Oh, that's cool. That's all I'm saying. I'm like,
games like this need that kind of option.
Yeah, exactly.
On top of just turn off the camera. Like if it makes the game dramatically more difficult to lock the camera on your character, let us slow the game down to 75% speed.
Yeah, maybe, or that. Like just options. Options are cool. Options make games accessible for people. You know. That's what I'm asking. I'm not saying like, oh my god, how dare you, blah blah blah. It's just there are. I mean, obviously because I am affected by this, not to the degree that Kira is affected by it, but I'm also affected by simulation sickness. I also, obviously because of that, I'm starting to curate like an audience that has the same issues, and like that is the thing. No, it's fine.
I was thinking of, okay, I'm going to cut this out afterwards, but now we reacted, so bless your mystery.
Yeah, bless your mystery. We are not alone. That's the thing, right? There is a lot of people out there that have these issues. So options are cool, and they make your games accessible, and that means more people will play them.
It just hurts me that all of these games are called roguelites because they're nothing like Rogue. And Rogue is like the most accessible, like traditional roguelikes is the most accessible genre to visually impaired and people with motion sickness because of how like slow and paced those games are.
Yeah, and then I played, because you brought it up, and we're talking about traditional roguelikes right now. I played Soul Ash, and holy heck, that game is good, but I need a freaking magnifying glass because holy crap, that font, it was so tiny. It was
I think there's I know there's an option to make the tiles bigger. I don't think there's an option to make the font
No, the
bigger.
font is so small. I had to like, I strained my eyes like trying to read that font. Like the game was fine, no problem. Like if you like traditional roguelike, that is one. It's really fun. I enjoyed my run. I got beaten up by a character and killed by them while they screamed at me, why are you attacking me? Why are you attacking me? After they started attacking me first. It was great. But
because you're an elder god and everything must attack you and you must destroy.
yeah, but she literally complained that I attacked her after she attacked me first.
You attacked back.
Necromancer best class.
Anyways, but yeah, holy heck. Options like,
so that was Tombstar and Soul
yeah,
Ash.
Tombstone and Soul Ash. Can I, as I said, just shout out again. Options make it. Options increases the range of people that can play your games. There we go.
Yes, please and thank
Developers.
you.
Time to plug your curator.
Yeah, we can do that too. Sure.
Or at the end, I don't know.
Yeah, we can do that.
What's next on this
So
list?
I've one that's somewhat fitting with the whole simulation sickness options topic, The Wandering Village.
Yeah.
Which was really
around.
cool.
That's fine.
Sorry, what did you say?
I was just saying we're jumping around, so I'm just thinking about maybe reorganizing.
Yes,
these.
I'm jumping around because it's just so fitting right now. It's a survival city builder, town builder. But the unique mechanic is that you build on a creature. It's called an onbu. It looks like a turtle. And that creature is walking around. And you've got the mechanic of you need to gather materials. You need to build something. There's research as well. You need to keep your people alive. But also you need to feed that creature you're on. And then it gets tired, it just stops moving and lies down on the ground. It's really, really cool, looks very nice, has a great tutorial, but there are no options currently for turning off the moving background. And I'm totally aware that you build something on a moving creature, but once you move your camera to the ledge of where you build, you see the moving ground. Not good. Really, really not good. So that needs some options, accessibility options.
I'm trying to think of ways that they could do that without completely gutting their style. They could put clouds.
Yeah, but moving clouds are also bad.
No, have the clouds follow you. Just have a cloud, because you know how cloud cover hugs mountains?
Yeah. Okay.
Could have a big cloud skirt following your critter.
Yeah, like that.
That's
for
the
example.
only thing I could really think of without them completely gutting their art style.
When you can avoid just looking over the edge. I did that. But
talking about bad games in terms of simulation sickness, motion sickness. Apparently we're doing that now, so I'm just jumping on that train. Literally,
yeah, stick with the theme.
Literally, because the game that I'm talking about is called Pandemic Train. The game is a really cool idea. It's sort of a more this War of Mine style gameplay. Like you have a group of survivors in a train, trying to survive, and you have to like manage them and tell them, okay, build this production bench, and you need to scavenge for resources, etc., etc. But because you're on a train that's going pretty fast, there's just constant scrolling background, and you can't zoom in on the train at all.
Oof.
Yeah. Chad and I lasted 10 minutes, I think, and then we had to just turn that off because, yeah, it was, like, the idea was cool of the game. Like, this is a really cool idea. It's like sort of Snowpiercer meets this War of Mine, I guess, in a way. Really cool idea, but absolutely 100% not playable for me.
Yeah, this one would make me motion sick.
Yeah.
And I'm not super susceptible to the moving background stuff, but this would make me motion
sick. It's very fast. It's like really fast for some reason as well.
I wonder if they like cranked up the depth of field in the background up to a bajillion, so it just all blurred out. If that would fix it, but at least when it's moving, that would help with me at the very least.
I mean,
but it would also maybe make the game look really.
The thing is, I couldn't play very long. So I don't quite know. I assume the way you scavenge for resources, and this is me assuming because as I said, I did not finish that game or finish the demo or go through it very far. I would assume you would have to stop.
Do you mean stop the train?
To stop the train and get out the train and go for resources. So instead of having the constant moving background, and then eventually you come to the next stop, why not just have the train be stopped? You do your surviving and leveling and whatnot, and when you're ready to go to the next scavenging thing, it just does the train starts pulling off, goes off frame, and then you arrive at that destination. Would probably change the gameplay progression a little bit, yes, but or just let me stop the background. Just yeah, because that was
just be a train in space.
Yeah.
That might actually be a cooler game.
But in space, you always have moving stars or planets in the background.
Also,
they just make them real small.
Also, moving train in space is not just Void Train. But
actually, I'm thinking of an anime right now from like the 90s, which is like a train in space, and I can't remember the name of it, and I feel like a big dum-dum.
But anyways, yeah, so that was Pandemic Train. Didn't play very long because I couldn't.
Blind, what else have you played?
I'm literally Googling anime train in space.
Well,
That's the name of this anime.
play...
The next game that I have is Undergrave, though, if you want to do it. Undergrave is probably my highlight of everything that I played, more than the first men. Undergrave is a very simple little roguelike, which the dev actually found my stream of it after I did it and tweeted at me in the middle of the night and said, thanks for playing. But it's a very simple little roguelike where you have currently in the demo, you have one character. Supposedly there's going to be other classes available in the full game, where you have 3 abilities. And the character that you have in the demo has a dash, a throw, and a jump. You have a sword, and you can throw your sword. You can throw your sword and dash and pick up your sword. You can jump onto your thrown sword and then kill a unit in the tile with your sword. You can jump with your sword and kill a unit in that tile. And essentially, so you have these 3 main abilities that are on a very short, not cooldown, but they have a very small ability power take, which you regain every turn. I think it's every 4 floors you get a little shop where you can get a perk, which can give you health back, can give you better crit chance, can give you better range on your sword or on a particular ability. And it's just an extremely satisfying small grid with only a couple of enemies. I saw 3 different enemy types in the demo that all behave differently. They intentionally try to avoid your combos too, so the AI is quite smart. And it's all about kiting back away from these weird zombie creatures and giant rats and weird heart brain critter things until eventually you get to the boss on floor 10 and kill it, which I did. So I did finish the demo. It is, in my opinion, really, really, really fun. It has kind of the same sort of satisfying feel to it as like an Into the Breach, but with a one-screen kind of puzzle roguelike style to it. And I really, really like it.
Sounds fun.
So that's Undergrave.
Cool.
Also, the dev for that game has put out a couple of other games in similar ish styles, and they're all like under $10. Like, so I expect this game to be quite cheap.
Nice.
So, looking forward to that one.
Cool. I've got something that I'm not looking forward to. I played the demo for Builders of Egypt, which is a historical city builder similar to Pharaoh. It's supposed to come out in the first quarter of this year, so there's only like 1 month left. And it won't be early access. So either that was an old demo build, or they're going to pull all-nighters until the release, because it is not finished, like, at all.
Mm-hmm. I played it too.
It's so bad.
So, I played this game in 2018.
Yeah.
Before it was called Builders of Egypt. I can't even remember what it was called. It was like Pharaoh's City or something. It had another name previously. Back when it was just made by developer name, like first name, last name, instead of like Strategy Labs, which is the developer now, and before it had a publisher. It's always seemed kind of, I don't want to say janky, but like cheap in a weird way. It's like I always feel really bad when I say things like this about games, because it's like I think every game kind of deserves a fair shake, but I don't know. There's something weird about this.
It was so lackluster, and it's not fun playing it. And then when you click on a building, you get a pop-up for that building to show you what it does, how many workers are there and stuff. And it's like that pop-up spawns on the map or something. Because suddenly, if you have a person that has an icon above its head running around, that icon would be on top of that pop-up. And also you can't move that pop-up, so it spawns like somewhere on the screen, and then if you move the camera, the pop-up moves with it. Or like not with it, but it stays there, and you move the camera, and then it's so weird. It's like,
I do wonder about this. I wonder about this because it's Playway SA that's publishing it, right?
Yep.
And Playway SA is notorious for taking demos that developers make, paying that, like buying the rights to the game idea, then firing the developer, and then putting a different studio on that game, changing the name, and then making $1 billion of it. And I'm scrolling down on this Steam page, and there's, like, I don't know if this happened with this one in particular, but they're also making Builders of China and Builders of Greece, which look deceptively similar. And I'm now real curious. And they all have, like, different publishers.
Huh.
This is very strange. I don't know. This is a weird one.
Yeah, so that was just...
Yeah, it's definitely not ready. It's definitely not ready.
I don't trust Playway SA because they're kind of like the closest thing we have to shovelware on Steam. And I've heard enough bad things about working with them that they scare me.
Some stuff that they publish is good.
Yeah, every now and again they strike gold, but like
some of them is also acid flippy, half-baked simulation games, yeah.
Yeah. Since that was Builders of Egypt, do we want to talk about Pharaoh since it's right there?
Sure, yeah. Have you played it?
Anybody? Yeah, I did. I also played the old one back in the day.
I did not play the old one. I only played the new one, and I really liked it.
I think those character animations are ugly. But aside from that, it's Pharaoh.
Yeah, I was just going to say it's just Pharaoh again, which is, I mean, I'm okay with that.
There's something weird about the character animations. Like, maybe this is just my memory betraying me, but I remember the character animations being less like bobblehead and kind of cartoony and moonwalky and more realistic. but maybe I'm misremembering. I think that there's like a few spots where it's very bright to the point where it's almost abrasive on the eyes. In the, I think it's the first mission where they make you go mining, you have to go mine gold. That mission, the way the gold looks on the white rocks is like hard on my eyes. Like it was almost painful to look at. But like even just a gamma setting for that for me would fix it. Like I could probably actually turn down my monitor brightness and fix that problem. But aside from that, like I have a few minor UI gripes. All of the UI on the left side of the screen has no tooltips. Those need tooltips because I don't know what any of those icons mean.
You've got a selection of filters there, but you don't really know what the filters do. Mm-hmm. They all have an icon, but
the filters are the most important.
Yeah,
they're so important.
What does it do? I noticed the same thing. Yeah.
So aside from a few minor UI gripes, I want to play more Pharaoh, and I'll replay Pharaoh.
Yeah, same.
Pharaoh's great.
I actually skipped the demo because I'm like, yeah, I'll just play this anyway. Like,
fair.
I'll just play it.
I didn't finish the demo. I did the first 3 missions. I was like, all right, I'm good. I'll just play this.
Yeah, right, exactly. Yeah.
So that was Pharaoh, A New Era, the remaster of the original Pharaoh. What do we want to do next?
Should I knock out a few?
Mm-hmm. Sure.
All right. The first one that I'm going to talk about is Coromon. That's Coro Mon, like Pokemon. Actually comes out next month already. And it's old school Game Boy Color Pokemon. Like, even the art is almost reminiscent of it. Like, the art is very reminiscent of it. The different types. I mean, they're all original creatures and whatnot, and you don't throw balls, you throw discs, but it's a love letter to Pokemon. But it's a good one. It's a good love letter to Pokemon, so if you want to play more Pokemon that's not Pokemon, but pretty, pixel-arty, Coromon.
All right.
This is funny to me because it feels like all of like Pokemon fandom played Stardew Valley and we're like, we can do that. It's kind of what it feels like. Because there's a few of these.
Yeah, no, there's a whole bunch. Yeah. I mean, there's Coromon, Nexamon. There's a lot of Mons.
There's that MMO thing that came out.
Temtem. Yeah, but Temtem is not finished yet. That's still early access.
Yeah, unfinished, finished. They're still trying.
True, yeah.
They still qualify.
Yeah, that's true.
As the wannabe Pokemon replacers, I suppose.
Oh, yeah, absolutely.
But cool. Coromon.
Yeah, Coromon, indeed. Next, after that, is The Unliving, which is a... God, how best to describe Unliving?
Wasn't it a hack and slash?
No, not real. Well, not really, because it's also an army control game. Because you're a necromancer and you did something and you don't know what you did.
Is it Pikmin?
Almost in a way, but you attack with it. But like you attack with so you raise zombies and they attack for you, and you can direct them. But you also have an attack, and basically, it's also run based. It's got meta progression and that sort of stuff. It's gorgeous. Absolutely freaking gorgeous pixel art. I also only played it very briefly because it also has wobble cam. So, it makes sense that because you have to direct your zombies around. So, it makes sense that obviously you need to move the mouse across the screen. But it's not really necessary to then also move the camera where you're moving your zombies. Like, I don't know.
I have a question just about cameras for a second. Yeah. How do you feel about like the MOBA style of doing cameras, more like League of Legends or even like an RTS, where it's just like you move the camera independently of your unit and then select your unit and tell them where to go?
Great.
That way.
That's great, yeah. No problem.
Do you think that would work for a game like this?
The thing is, for this particular game, for Unliving in particular, you can just have static screen because you're... the way they've done it in this, it is almost room based. Like you almost progress from like a room to a room. So it's really not necessary to have wobble cam.
Weird.
Yeah. Yeah, I don't know why.
I would prefer to just have like a static room
Yeah,
cam.
same.
It's really sad because I saw that game and I put it on my wish list and I got the demo and I would have streamed it, but then if GDM'd me and we talked about demos and then she'd say, oh yeah, better not play that because of the camera.
Yeah.
Sad times.
Like,
Interesting.
like the gameplay is really fun. The art style's gorgeous. It's like, such good pixel art. It's really fun to play, but yeah, the wobble cam is just...
All right, yeah.
Yeah. That was The Unliving. I'll do one more and then we switch over.
Go ahead.
As I said, I played so many.
Just keep going.
Next...
I played a Briss too, for whatever that's worth, which is later down the line as well.
Sounds good.
Go on.
I'll leave that one to you. Next up on my list is Nova Islands. The S is important, Nova Islands, because there's also a Nova Island. That's not the one I'm talking about. This game is not yet... That doesn't have a release date yet, but it's basically... Forager, but with more crafting and automation. But it's similar to Forager if you've played that. Like you everything you do gives you XP and you level up from there, and then you start harvesting resources and you craft that into new resources, and then you get bots that kind of do that for you and that sort of stuff with that progression. Like I actually stopped the demo early because I'm like, yeah, if I don't stop this now, I'll play the entire demo and it's going to be like 4 hours later.
That's a good sign.
Yeah. No, I really enjoyed it. It's very simplistic looking, but it gets, I think, like progression-wise, it gets rather complicated if you look at the screenshots and whatnot. And yeah, it's just Forager was really fun as well, and this also seemed really, really, really fun because you have to craft, explore, make items for quests to unlock stuff, do research, etc., etc.
It really looks like Forager.
Yeah, it does almost.
I saw this pop up in a recommended queue on Steam, and I just kind of went, "Yep, it's another one of those." Next.
Yeah, no, but I really enjoyed it.
Yeah, for people who like those types of games, and that seems neat.
Yep.
So that was Nova Islands with an S.
Yes.
I played one.
Right.
Nova Island is a different game.
I played one more demo on stream, and there was a little to the left, which reminded me of Unpacking because it's a casual, chill Zen game. But be careful about this. So the first level is there's a picture on the wall and it's slightly tilted to a side. So you click it and then you correct it so that it's straight again. And then you have to sort pencils and books. And it's really funny because the puzzle way is, how do you sort it? Most of it seems, at least to me, it seems quite obvious. There was one level with a drawer where I didn't really see why that particular thing had to go on that side, but whatever. It's not completely zen because there's also a cat that messes with you.
So just like real life?
Yeah.
But I found it very charming. Like, I don't like the art style that much, but
Same.
I really like the idea of this, and I find it oddly satisfying.
I'd play that if it was on Game Pass. That's all I have to say about that.
I found some of the maps then. Some of the maps I just thought, like, why the pencils?
Yeah.
Because you had the pencils, and then I just couldn't figure out that they just want you to throw the pencil shavings off the screen.
No, that was immediately clear for me.
No, absolutely. Like for me, I was just like, do I need to like sort them?
That's like putting dust under the rug.
Or do I have to like sort them according to like which pencil they're from, whatever? And then I actually looked at the hint for that and just throw it off. It was throw off the screen. Yeah, it was absolutely not clear to me. And I don't like the art style because the art style, it has this 2-frame animation where it flickers back and forth. And that is...
I know exactly what style you're talking about.
And it's just like... It's so unnecessary. And it's so busy on the eye, I found. Like, I can't look at that for very long. So, yeah, I like I appreciate the idea behind it and what they were trying to do. But I'm going to pass on that game because I can't deal with the constant flickering back and forth art style.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Next one.
Next.
That was a little to the left.
Yeah.
FG, do you want to take one?
Sure. Dawn-grown is very, very, very early. That's dawn, like the, dawn, and then grown. It's a very early demo. At least it feels very early, even though apparently the game is coming out this year, and it looks like super chill, but it's not. So basically, the only purpose of the game is to clean the environment. You have a gun that cleans the corruption away, but the corruption keeps spreading, and you have to go back to loading points for your gun to get more cleansing foam, and then you also have to water the area around you after you've cleansed it from corruption. That also will charge your gun. But obviously, if the meter for the corruption is full, then you lose. So it's actually not that zen. It felt a bit early, not in terms of art or anything like that. The art is very cohesive. It felt early because the gun did not feel fun to shoot. It caught on invisible pixel edges. The gun, because you actually physically hold the gun away from you, so if you're right next to the corruption, it doesn't actually spray at the corruption because you have to hit the edge rather than it just needs some gameplay refinement. The idea is cool, but it needs some gameplay refinement because the I guess I have to really say gunplay. The gunplay just didn't feel satisfying.
Was that a first-person game, like all those simulators?
No, it's top-down.
I see.
Yeah, it's like a top-down pixel art thingy where you play as a little frog.
Yeah.
Looking at it right now.
It's like besides that, it's super Kiri friendly as well. But yeah, it's just the gun needs a bit of refining, I think.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, that was Dawn-grown.
So that was Dawn-grown, yeah. Do you want to do a Briss?
You go. You do it.
Okay, I can take a Briss. A Briss is a isometric science fiction physics game where you break buildings by building buildings with building blocks that have different effects. Like there's a spinny block, there's a rocket block, there's a boom boom block, and it has good sound effects. It made my computer lag, and it was satisfying. I liked it.
The art style is gorgeous. Absolutely gorgeous, yeah.
I should say the full title because it's a Briss game, Build to Destroy.
May I help you, or we help you with pronunciation?
Yeah.
I don't want to offend you.
Sure.
But
offend me.
No, I don't want to offend you. But so it's German, and it's pronounced Abriss.
Sure.
So you pronounce the first syllable.
Okay, so a Briss, but with more phlegm. Got it.
Sure.
Yeah. Well, it's like up, and then a slight pause, riss. Like it's not Briss, it's up, riss. Like there's just a little break in there. In between the B and the R, basically. The rest is...
Trying to figure out how to do that with my mouth. It's been a long time since I've done German.
Just say up, like up, and then riss, or riss. That works as well.
Abriss?
Yes.
Yeah.
Very good.
Yeah, that works. Yeah.
Okay.
That works.
I did take German at one point in my life, and I will always remember my German teacher just shouting at us, "More phlegm! More phlegm!" So that's why I always say "add
I suppose for a lot of words, that just works, right?
That is true. Yeah.
Yeah, especially when you're trying to teach English speakers how to say anything in German. It's like, how do you say Schadenfreude? It's like, well...
That's great.
And then you start learning Dutch.
And then it's more phlegm.
Yeah.
And then you realize that Finland stole all of the syllables. Scream. So this game it's just a isometric build and break stuff game, and I would almost compare it to something like oh geez, now I'm blanking on the name of that game. The one where you build the siege engines. It's kind of like that to a degree, but like science fiction.
Besieged? It's Besieged.
Besieged,
Yeah. No,
it's kind of like that to a degree.
Yeah. It's it's really fun, and it's also simulation friendly because you can turn off like screen shake and rotating and all that sort of stuff, which is cool. Like the camera rotating, like it rotating on its own and whatnot. It's absolutely gorgeous, and oh my, it's so pretty. The only thing that I really missed is a 360-degree camera when building. Because sometimes I had issues kind of stacking edges properly against each other, and if I had just been able to tilt the camera, like lower the camera and then tilt the camera up, it would have been a lot easier to build. Like, I just want a free roam camera in that game.
I don't think it needs that, but there's a game that I really like called Parkitect, which has a bunch of controls that you can hit where it's like you shrink the grid to like 1/4 size or 1/8 size or 1/16 size. And it has a lot of very finely tuned snapping tools. I don't know if this game necessarily needs a full on free camera, but just more ways to like shrink the grid and be more specific about your item placements, I think would go a long way. That's my only real feedback for it. But aside from that, I think like style-wise, this game's phenomenal.
Yeah, no, it's very pretty.
It does look pretty, yeah.
It is really.
I just skipped on it because it's not really my thing.
It's
puzzle
mostly a puzzle game, yeah.
It actually, it reminds me a lot of that Lego puzzle game, that Brick Venture thing.
Mm-hmm.
Just in its perspective and
journey.
the way it plays.
Yeah, I guess, in a way. Absolutely.
Also in the way that it's like going to fry your graphics card if you turn the graphics up to full.
Oh, yeah. Indeed.
So what do we want to do next year?
I can pop... Or do you want to go, Kiri?
Go ahead. You have so many still.
I still have so many. I'm on line 2 of 6.
Yep.
Maybe
All
we're
right.
gonna just pick those that you really liked.
Could do it.
But there's...
Or just do a lightning round for all the ones you didn't like.
that. Something
Just
that
like
stood
read out the titles and be like, didn't like it, it sucked. Didn't like it, or whatever.
Well, yeah, I mean, to be
Liked it,
fair, there's a few that I've already talked about, because you talked about it, so we can skip those. That's fine. So Serpent Rogue is a play that I played, which is a game that I played. So Serpent Rogue, comes out in 2 months, which has me actually kind of sad, because it's an action adventure game. And you're supposed to cleanse the world by alchemy and defeating things and crafting and farming and making potions and whatnot. The gameplay is not fun. It is not fun because you get thrown and you have this tutorial and it tells you like, okay, you do this and then you have to figure out how to make a potion. Like everything that you collect in it has like attributes, and then you can throw them together to make different potions. That's all fine. And then that's it in the tutorial area, and then in your hut. And then you go to the next area. And that's the open plains. And you see this number at the top that's counting up. And you're just kind of there and you're like, okay, what am I doing now? What is the number? Like the number is never mentioned. It's not explained what the number does. It just goes up. And
the numbers keep going up. Obviously.
Yeah, numbers go burr. And then you run around, and then there's like friendly animals, but then there's corrupted animals, and then the combat doesn't feel good because it's really hard to because you can block, but it's really hard to realize when you can block an attack, and then when you die, you drop everything that you carry, including tools that you've crafted. And then you have to, you get resurrected at your base. You have to run back to the spot where you died to pick up your tools. And if you die on the way to the spots, it does the Dark Souls thing where you lose what's dropped. but it's not just
seems like
souls. You lose your tools, and then you have to start basically all over again. It's just not fun.
Don't starve together.
So it's just get good.
Yes.
Don't die.
Yeah.
Looking at this, I do not like this art style in the slightest.
The art style.
There's I've seen other games that look like this that have this like over cell shaded look, and they lose depth and just get harder to look at for me.
It looks worse in the screenshots on Steam for whatever reason that it looked on when I played it.
It looks better in motion than it does in screenshots for sure. I mean, I'm looking at some gameplay right now.
Yeah, it looks better.
It looks good.
It does look better in motion, but I do not like this art style at all.
It's not everybody's cup of tea, but like the gameplay is just like it's just not fun.
Well, so that's the Serpent Rogue.
Yeah.
Moving on.
Talked about that one. Celestial Empire is an Asian, well, not set in Asia, China, anno type game. So, you have to produce resources, and then if you supply your people with those resources, you can level up their house, and then they demand new resources, and you have to make production change, etc., etc., etc. You get what I mean. Mm-hmm. Not ready yet. Way too early. Wait like 2 more years.
I heard that one's very derivative. Doesn't really do much.
No, it doesn't. No, it doesn't.
Which is kind of like a immediate no sell for me for a city builder. It's like if you're a city builder, either A, you have to be part of a franchise that is like that never really does anything new, or B, you have to try and do something different or add some sort of twist. Otherwise, I'm just not interested.
It does have religion. Like, it has, like, a balancing karma religion type thing going on with, like, shrines and gods that you have to do. So it does have a little bit of a twist. That's not super explained in the demo, though. And it's just really early. Like, really early. Like, yeah. That game just needs to... It's not bad. Like, there's a solid foundation there. But it's just early. It's just really wickedly early. All
right.
Next. Post-Apo Builder. Worst name probably of any game that I've played this demo.
Is this that atomic village, atomic settlement game? Because it looks like that.
No, it's a different one. It's a different one.
It's another one of those.
It's another one of those, yes. Doesn't have a release date yet. Terrible name. And it has this terrible blurry vignette overlaid. You can see it in the screenshots. Like, for some reason, like, everything on the outside is blurred. And I don't know why. Like, it's not necessary. It just looks ugly. But...
Frostpunk had that to a degree, and it drove me nuts.
Yeah, it's just ugly, and it's distracting, and I don't know. There's, like, this tiny little area on screen that's actually, like... in focus, and then the rest is just It kind of takes a lot from all of the other post-apocalyptic city builders that have popped up recently, Atomic Society, Surviving the Aftermath, Endzone, and whatnot. But what I really actually liked about this one, it's still definitely early, but it has free-form city building, and that's really nice. Like, there's no grid, and you can rotate the buildings around.
It's not a banished.
Yeah,
That's nice.
It's really nice, and you can like build stuff that looks a little bit more natural and whatnot. So, for me, this is a keep an eye on it and just get rid of that stupid vignette. Just let me turn it off. It's ugly. It makes the game literally look so much worse than it actually looks, because the textures and like the buildings, they look really nice actually, but they just look ugly because of that vignette. I don't know why they've done that. Also, get a different name, please, because Post-Apo Builders just no.
So now that we're done with Post-Apo Builder, we're gonna move on to a game that could have had a name generated in a video game that came out in 2022. Name generator.
Are you talking about a research story? Yeah, it's also not the greatest title. But it kind of makes sense that it's called research story, because you are literally a researcher. in this game,
Okay,
right?
so take word, add story. Take word, add life. Or take word, add farm life or farm life story onto a thing. And it's like, that's a whole genre of games. And it's like, can we get... Either we've run out of names for video games or people have run out of creativity for names for video games at this point. I don't know which one it is, but it's one of the two.
It's a really cute pixel art life sim game. You're a researcher for the Violet Archive, and you're a researcher. So you research because suddenly things are popping up that have not popped up in that area at all, like creatures and plants and that sort of stuff. So the way you do it is like you encounter a plant or animal in the wild. You have to observe them in the wild first to learn more about them. And then the next time you encounter them, you can, for example, for a plant, you can harvest it. Maybe you get a seed. And then if you get a seed, you can then try to cultivate it at home. And then by cultivating at home, you'll learn more about it. Same with animals. You encounter them in the wild. You try to approach them. And then you'll learn more about them by observing them. You figure out how to tame them. Then you tame them. You bring them to your farm. You interact with them, make them happy. Like, it's really cleverly done.
It sounds really fun.
Yeah, it's really fun. No, I really enjoyed it. I cut it short as well because I was like, yeah, I'm going to play this when it comes out because it's really fun.
To wish list.
Yeah, it's very cleverly done. The art style is absolutely gorgeous. And it's a farm sim game, farm life sim game, but you're farming because you're doing research on everything. So it's a bit of differently motivated. I really enjoyed it.
I like the idea of that.
Like that bees game.
Yeah.
Apico? Yeah.
Apico. That's what I was thinking of. 'Cause you're like researching and breeding bees.
Pretty much, yeah.
Cool.
It's just this is FC's episode, but yeah, as I said, I played 3. Next up, I can keep that one short. Tinykin is a puzzle game, sort of in the vein of Pikmin. You are in a house. You got shrunk. You're in a house, and there are loads of Tinykin and loads of other creatures and bugs and whatnot, and you interact with them, and it's and then you have to do puzzles and you have to like unlock passages and collect. I think it's popcorn. I have no idea if it's popcorn, but like basically you're trying to get unshrunk again, and it's really cleverly done. The art style is really cool because it's like 3D art, but then all the characters are like hand-drawn cartoon characters, and they look almost...
Yeah, this looks beautiful.
They almost look like characters out of Hollow Knight. Like, it reminds me very much of that art style. Maybe because most of them are bugs, but it's just really cleverly done. It's really fun. I enjoyed it. It's fun. It's a cool puzzle game. Collectathon as well, because as I said, like I think in the demo you could collect over I think it was 740 popcorn in one room. Like you could spend that demo forever. Yeah, it's just really cute, cleverly done.
I love the fact that the Tinykin are all just tiny little Mike Wazowskis.
Yeah, and the cool thing is if you have them around you and you stop because you're talking to somebody, they'll just all fall over and start sleeping, and it's so cute. It's so cute.
Little eyeball creatures.
Yeah. Oh, no, that was also really fun. Yep. All right. Meow. Yes, cats. Tinykin, yeah. Actually published by TinyBuild, so it's very aptly, very apt connection to the publisher.
That means you're gonna have to run your Tinykin through the Hello Neighbor house at some point, right?
Maybe, yeah, maybe.
It would fit the.
It would, yeah. Also, there's so much cat. I'm sorry.
That's okay. Cat played a lot of demos too, mostly involving fish and.
Okay, now I have to go. Because today I tried Cat Cafe Manager. It's very fitting.
How'd you like it?
Perfect.
Yeah.
I liked it, yeah. So I didn't play much, but it has cute graphics, and it's literally just that. So you build your cafe. So there's also a building aspect, but it's super simple. Just select a floor type and then drag and drop the floor, really put on different wallpaper. And you start very simple, which is 1 table, 3 chairs, 1 cat. And then there's a town shopping mechanic where you have to go to the town and then buy some more cat food and then come back and people are going to arrive. And it's kind of like a cafe builder, but then also Diner Dash type, because the way you manage your restaurant is like Diner Dash. You move your character with WASD, and then you just interact with the customers with a cat, and you pet it, and then there are more cats coming, and you can adopt them, and they have different stats. So maybe they need less food, or they make your customers happier, and that kind of thing, and then you just grow your cafe. I guess that's fun. It's very wholesome.
Yeah. That sounds good. I was at because I looked at this and was like, so if this was kind of cute and wholesome, maybe a little bit boring. But then you said Dino Dash, and I'm like,
right?
Ooh.
I also love Dino Dash games.
Yeah. Well then.
Yeah, no, that was good.
I will add that then as well. Yeah. Talking about running cafes and bars and saloons, I also tried Deadwater Saloon, where you are supposed to manage a saloon and build a town, and it has almost a little bit of like Empire of Sin interaction with other businesses and people in the town, because you have your saloon, but you also can manage relationship with people, and you can do loads of things. You can seduce them, like extort them, murder them, like loads of different things. It sounded really interesting, and we started off playing and whatnot, and then it just like super hard crashed, and then I kind of didn't have I didn't have enough interest in what I'd played so far to go back to it after it crashed so hard, and I don't know. Like, the idea is really cool, but it starts off really slow, at least in the demo, because you have literally just your house and a trapper and one person living in the house, so you're in the town. So you run a saloon for one person. It's a bit weird. Yeah. Don't know. Maybe it's better, because from the screenshots, like when you have an actual full town, I think it could be a lot more interesting, because like as I said, like every person in the town you can interact with your character.
So was that just the demo, or because it crashed and you didn't actually get to that part?
I think a bit of both.
Mm-hmm.
I think because I didn't get that far in it, and then also it crashed so hard, and I was like, I can't be bothered to like restart and try to get back into, and because I have so many other games to get through, and yeah, I need to keep an eye on this one. I'm not super sure. Like, the demo wasn't super convincing. Maybe when there's, I don't know, maybe if there's like a campaign mode or something, because this was obviously only sandbox and that sort of stuff. So maybe, don't know. We'll see. Same with the next one, actually. Camp Canyonwood is basically you play as a newly appointed counselor for a summer camp. And what you have to do is you have to make money for the person actually owning the camp, because they're lazy and they don't do anything. And the way you make money is you get little basically like campers, like children. It's like American summer camp, and they get badges. And the more badges they collect over the summer, the more money you get. And it then gets thrown really off the rails later on. Like there's like alien encounters and all sorts of weird things. The art is really cool because it's like 3D, but it's like almost 2D paper cutouts. Like, you know, the people are like paper cutouts basically, and like a lot of the
paper is a popular theme this year. I was about to say the art style here is terrifying, but
but you know, it's really nice. Like, it's really nice looking, but then it lacked with the gameplay, because maybe that was just a demo, because the tutorial was really short, and then it's kind of just like, all right, off you go now, you do your thing now. But it's like controlling your, because so you get like four campers, and you can go to the pier and you can fish. You don't have a fishing rod, which is hold E or click E, I don't remember. And then the other one is the under control, like is the same button, which is like super confusing, is then it makes your campus do fishing, and then you can pick up the fish and you can roast them and that sort of stuff. But it's like, it's too free after the
Is this
tutorial. Like, I don't know, it's like weird. It's like I just couldn't get into it. Like, it seemed really cool and the idea seemed really cool, but then it was too free and I had no idea what to do later on. I don't know.
This seems like it really wants to be Don't Starve.
No, not the way you play it. It's more of a
Fair enough.
life sim adventure story game thing.
Because that's what I'm getting from
Yeah.
the screenshots in the video, but
Yeah.
seems all right. Camp Canyonwood.
Like, I like the idea. I love the art style, but gameplay was a bit weird. Maybe that was just a demo.
They got time to work on it.
Yeah. Maybe the demo just wasn't cohesive enough. So I'll wait and see when it comes out.
There's a pun in the title of the next one.
Yes, Lumberjack.
L-U-M bear.
Yeah, so Lumberjack is... I actually saw this, E3 last year, the year before.
Oh boy.
They had a thing. They had like a thing. Basically, you're just a bear that runs around the woods with an axe, destroying everything the humans build. And the humans that are poisoning your environment. And the people, you don't hit them with your axe, you just slap them to slap some sense into them, and then they are happy, and then they don't destroy the environment anymore, and then you just complete maps. It's like a little bit of puzzling in there as well, because you have to like move cranes around and other things like that. I had really bad camera controls. Like, it had, like, weird snapping cam. But then also, like, you could WASD a cam, but then you would go around the building. It would snap the camera differently. And then you could WASD it again. And it was just really weird. And it was one of those games where the cutscenes just don't have a volume slider. So it was like,
oh, no.
my ears! It's
This reminds me of Donut County.
Yeah, Donut County, almost Untitled Goose Gamey. I think if the final game is longer than 2 hours, people are gonna get like there's too much, because there's a little bit there's one screenshot as well where you play golf with your axe with a golf club and bombs, and you like take down like bits, but the aiming is really off. Like, this is a game that can very easily overstay its welcome, but if it's short enough, and they refine the camera a little bit, I think it can be, it's going to be one of those fun games, that you can play.
To me, that looks like a really good, like, 2 to 4 hour, $15 break stuff game.
Yeah,
but
exactly.
Could definitely outstay its welcome. It certainly looks like that.
With a little bit of puzzling in there as well. Hopefully the puzzles get a bit more complicated later on. It was all right. There's definitely an audience for this sort of stuff. But yeah, I don't think it should be longer than 2, at most 3 hours, because I think people will get sick of it at that point.
Well, it definitely should be longer than this podcast, but this podcast is getting long. So what do we have left here?
I see Potion Tycoon on FG's list.
Yes.
And I was wondering about that, because I want to try that too. What do you think?
It's, I need to quickly check. I enjoyed it a lot. Okay, yeah, because it has a coming soon release date. So basically you run a potion shop, but it's like sort of almost a little bit oxygen not included in a way, because you have your little helpers and they level up and they do your things, and you have to like keep them happy, but you also have to keep your customers happy, and then you have to do quests, but you also have to sort of almost potion craft your potions together. There's like a mini game with that, because you can take like one ingredient, and then whatever of that ingredient touches the ingredient circle, that's like that, but then you can like treat your ingredients so certain bad bits like gets cut off, because like certain plants, for example, they have like a They usually have 4 aspects, and that could be like sweet, bitter, and toxin and antitoxin. And then depending on like how you treat a plant, you cut certain bits off and whatnot. Like, there's a lot going on, and the game has a lot going for it.
It sounds busy.
It is very busy, yes. And
it even has the day counter from Oxygen not included.
Yeah, in a way. Yeah, like it's really good. I really enjoyed it. There's a lot to do. You can like customize your rooms and whatnot. I found it really hard to make money. And I kind of ran my potion business into the ground, I think. But this is definitely one I'm going to play when it comes out.
Awesome.
I really enjoyed it, yeah. All right, I can get through this relatively quickly. Camping Builder is another one of those renovation type sim games, like simulation games that are popping up everywhere. You know, like Airport Renovator. It's actually by the Airport Renovator people. Hotel Renovator. Aqua Park Renovator. It's alright, it runs alright, but it's one of those companies that puts out a lot of demos and then you never see the finished games. So I'm kind of like waiting to actually, because I really enjoyed Airport Renovator when I played that one, the demo. Next fest before that, I don't know. Like, but that game is not even out yet, right? It's like one of those where you don't know if it'll actually ever happen type games. So wait and see. Mail Time is actually a really, really super wholesome mail delivery game. That's actually really, really, really early. They're currently on Kickstarter, actually. But it's very early, yeah. But they had a fully playable level with no issues. Really adorable. Like, it's really cute. It's like sweetly cute mail delivery game. And there's different characters, and then you like take letters from one to the other, and then there's like love letters, and I don't know. It's just super wholesome and cute, but it's
little 3D platformer
thingy. Yeah, exactly, with like a little bit of collectathon going on as well. Very wholesome.
Well, maybe worth watching.
But very early. I think they're fully funded on Kickstarter, so it's probably going to come out. But it's still very early. But cool. I enjoyed it. It was very cute. And you can customize your character, and they're so cute because they have a little mushroom hat, but you can also customize like the backpack, and so cute. Just way too...
Don't tell Nintendo.
Yeah, way too cute. All right, next up, High Rise City.
More like Low Rise City.
Yeah. It's coming out actually next month in early access, but it's basically Acid Flip the City Builder. It's not good. It's like it's ginormous when you download it because it's all bought store assets, so nothing's optimized. It has like this incredible zoom level. Like you can zoom into first person and walk around. And there's like literally every blade of grass is like simulated. But that also means as soon as you try to build something, the entire game lags. You've got animals walking on water. And you can also drive a car around your city. But as soon as you touch water, it explodes. It's not good. It is not good. It is one of those video games that's gonna show up on those certain YouTube channels where they do really wacky, buggy things in video games. And then it's going to fade into obscurity again.
I have a question. Did you ever play the Cities XL games?
Yes.
I didn't.
This kind of reminds me of that a little bit.
It has...
They have overwhelmingly negative reviews for a reason.
Yeah, it is similar. Yeah, it takes a lot of that from those games. Also, it has like the City Skylines progression, like where you hit certain milestones in terms of size, you unlock new buildings and that sort of stuff. Like, there is, dare I say it, nothing original about this video game.
That's sad.
Yeah.
All right, so a bland, uninteresting city builder at best, a laggy, broken mess at worst.
Yeah, pretty much. Yeah. And then 2 really good games. All right. First up, Ozymandias, which is, I think that's how you sell it. And actually the full title is Ozymandias Bronze Age Empire Sim, which is a It's a historical 4X game that looks deceptively simple, but it's not. And it's also
Wishlisted.
It's also designed to be rather short, so you can play a game in a sitting, in like an hour or two, rather than playing for 8-12 hours on one like run.
Sounds very refreshing.
It's really well done. I really like the art. As I said, deceptively simple. I only played like up to the third map, which I actually lost because I was not paying attention properly. Yeah, it's very clever. Really, really, really enjoyed my time with it. And
can I just say shout outs to Goblins Publishing, who are the publisher of this, because like they put out some like mixed reviews games that like just didn't do particularly well, but everything that they put out is like weird and kind of unique in a way that I want to look at it.
Yeah, absolutely. Yeah, no, 100%.
So, shout outs to them for publishing weird games. I like it.
Yep. No, I Ozymandias definitely like. It's gonna have multiplayer. They've already done a multiplayer playtest as well. So yeah, no, that one was really good. That was really, really good. Cool. I really enjoyed that one.
Adding that to wish list.
Yeah, and then last but not least, I have made it to the end.
Yay!
Hey, is Puzzles of Clef, actually, which is a super duper gorgeous 2D side-scrolling puzzle platformer exploration game, and it's just so pretty.
It does look pretty. Wow.
Oh, it's so pretty. It's like
this girl's got a cute hat.
Yeah, she's got a cute hat, and it's got like puzzles in it, and like the characters are all hand drawn, and like the backgrounds are, I mean, they're also drawn, but like the characters are like cartoon style. The background is a little bit more a softer style, but it's just so pretty, and it's got like really good quests in it, and like puzzles, like you have to listen for certain puzzles to find things, and then there's like melody puzzles, there's jumping puzzles. It's just really, really cute and wholesome, and just no, it was really nice. Doesn't come out till next year though. But what's there already is like, like you have this little log, you see a screenshot of it as well, and it's just so well done. Like the art, they just invested so much in the art of this game. It's highly recommend. That's me done.
All right.
Hey,
that was it. Wow.
I think there's one or two games left on this list. One is mine, and one is Kiri's.
Yes.
Yes. So my game is Writer's Block, because I thought that's cool. It's another typing game kind of thing. It's not. I was sorely disappointed because you are supposed to come up with just random words to attack your enemy. So it's like you have fight battles with words, but you've got like a typewriter in front of you that is just a jumble of letters. So it's not even the whole thing, not the whole keyboard. And then some letters will hurt you when you use it. Some letters will hurt you when you don't use them. But you can't even use your keyboard to type in the words. You have to click with your mouse on the typewriter and the screen. And it's just, nah.
This is exactly the same as a game that I played on library computers when I was a little kid called Bookworm Adventures.
Okay.
Like, the UI is the same.
Oh, okay.
And I think it was called Bookworm Adventures. But the reason I remember this game's existence is because the YouTuber Donkey it became a meme in his comments section for a really long time because he mentioned it once, and then he finally reviewed it, and it's a very, very, very funny video.
I need to ask Mystery about this because he's a huge fan.
I mean, it's basically just Boggle, the video game, isn't it?
Yeah, pretty much. I've seen. It's just I've literally seen almost an identical game to this.
Yeah,
I mean it's like a educational game for little kids, kind of.
Yeah, it's just I expected something different.
Yeah. Oh well. Do you want me to go with my last one?
Yeah.
All right. So my last one is Whisker Squadron. It's Star Fox with cats. Is Whisker Squadron. Very much not friendly for either of you. Probably would cause massive amounts of motion sickness. And the open space areas made me feel kind of motion sick. It's very early. It's slated to come out this year, I think. Just double checking. Yeah, it's slated to come out 2022. I'm not super optimistic, but the studio that's making it put out a game called Race the Sun in 2013, which I quite like, which is sort of like an infinite runner, and obstacles appear on the screen, and you have to dodge left and right and collect little gems to extend the time before the sun sets, and then when the sun sets, or if you hit an obstacle, you die. So like that game was really neat. Like their previous games all got really polished. This just feels like it's too early. Like the controls are exceptionally floaty and don't feel very good. And like I said, there's definitely like some FOV/camera issues in the open space areas. But essentially, it's randomly generated Star Fox with FTL style progression. So you select different areas that you go to. If you haven't played Star Fox, it's basically like two kinds of levels. There's open levels where you fly around in space and shoot enemies or like talk to NPCs. And then there's the classic Star Fox style levels where you just fly basically down a trench and enemies appear in front of you and you have to direct your ship left and right, kind of like an on-rails shooter, but much more like a classic arcade game. Pick up pickups and whatnot for your ship that either heal you or give you special one-time use abilities, and then you shoot enemies on the screen. The few boss designs that I saw were rather uninteresting looking. But if they manage to like tighten up the controls and just make it feel better to play, I think this could be very fun because I have a very soft spot in my heart for classic Star Fox, and I really want somebody to make a Star Fox game because Nintendo has proved time and time again that they can't make a good Star Fox game again. So that's what Whisker Squadron is.
We actually made it.
Also, like it's all cats. It's all cats.
That's pretty good. I looked at the Steam store page, and yeah, that's definitely something that I shall not be playing.
They do tell you to do a barrel roll, though.
That's good.
So they know what they're doing.
Yep.
But yeah, it needs more time in the oven, I think. Very much so. So we've made it to the end of this very long list of games. We do have a few news topics to talk about, so we're going to go to a quick break right now, I think. And then when we come back, we're going to skim through some news topics. But thanks for coming along with us for this very long journey through the Steam Next Fest.
Hello, Pelaner here. I wasn't on this week's episode due to traveling. Creating content on the go is something I plan to do a lot more in the future, so to be on the lookout for that. This time one of the places we visited was a cat cafe, so check out some of the awesome cat and food pictures from our trip on Team's Discord or twitter.com/PelanarTV. And you can also find me every day on twitch.tv/Pelanar in the European evening times. And also soon again on the podcast. So enjoy the rest of the show.
And we are back. Once again, this is the Halcyon Frequency podcast for February 27th, 2022. With me, Blind, Tootie Kiri, and FG Squared. So we have a few news stories that we're going to talk about here pretty quickly. The first one is a reporting coming out of one Jeff Grubb that was then rewritten about on Video Games Chronicle. Jeff Grubb talked on his Premium Giant Bomb show, Grubb Snacks, about how they are, Obsidian Entertainment and Microsoft are in very, very early talks about a Fallout New Vegas 2. That's more or less the entirety.
Is that good news? Like, is Fallout New Vegas good? Was it good?
So Fallout 1 and 2 were made by a studio. And then that got sold to Bethesda. And they went off and made Fallout 3, which is a completely different game. Instead of being an isometric CRPG with good writing, it's a first-person Bethesda game with bloody weird physics and a lot of bugs and glitches and kind of mediocre writing. Fallout New Vegas is more or less that original team getting the new engine and putting the good writing and world design back in.
All right.
But it still had like that kind of Bethesda game jank to it. So this is like theoretically Obsidian, which is that same studio that made New Vegas, who's now owned by Microsoft, and Bethesda's also owned by Microsoft, potentially getting the opportunity to make that game again, but hopefully with like enough money to actually finish it and not like what it was like 13 months or something they had to make Vegas.
Yeah,
it was like just
short,
over a year. So, it would be really cool to get to see them take another stab at New Vegas. Be really cool. Even if we don't
like
see them
actually
play.
flesh it out, because obviously since that time, since New Vegas came out, Obsidian also has grown in their storytelling and their development, right? So I think this is literally like basically what Fallout fans have been hoping and wishing for ever since it was announced that Microsoft has bought both Obsidian and Bethesda. And it is a clever marketing thing to do, because they know this is going to print them a crap ton of money, but wouldn't get excited just yet, because this is gonna be, a game that comes out in maybe 5 years or longer, because the thing is, like, Bethesda still has Starfield, which is coming out in November this year, then Elder Scrolls 6 slated for after that, sometime in the future, whenever that is. And then Obsidian is working on their like tiny little offshoot studio, like the smaller team is working on Grounded, and that other team, their main team, is working on their own RPG that I'm Avowed,
which I just looked up.
Yeah, because I could also not remember that. So
it's a fantasy RPG kind of in a Skyrim-ish style that takes place in the same world as Pillars of Eternity, which is their other RPG franchise.
Exactly, which I'm actually really excited for. But beside an announcement, we haven't heard anything about that either. So that's also not really super far along. So yeah, Fallout New Vegas 2, this is gonna be a while. Mm-hmm.
One thing I will say about Avowed is, as of October 11th, 2021, they're still working on it. So, they're still working on it.
That's good. And they're also working on Grounded. Grounded is also getting constant updates,
Yes.
so there's that.
Apparently Grounded's good.
I only played it. That was like the one game I got Game Pass for. Played it on Game Pass. Was like, yeah, it's pretty cool. And it's... But then it went the whole, it's another survival builder game. I'll wait till it's finished, because otherwise I'll play it when it comes out. I play it I'll play it in early access so much that I'll get sick of it, and then I never touch it again. So I'll just wait until it comes out. But it was a good Game Pass investment. I got Game Pass for a £1 that month. Played Grounded with Lex. That was really fun. And then we unsubscribed again. It was great.
Seems like a really good piece of Vareware.
Yeah, absolutely.
So the next thing that we have here is on the topic of Bethesda is well, first off, Bethesda has a launcher. Did either of you know that?
Yes, I did, because
So I knew this.
You needed it back when Fallout 76 came out. You needed it because it was only
that was an exclusive.
Yeah.
Wasn't it?
It's so funny because you posted that news article, right? And I read it. I was like, so the article is they're basically shutting down the launcher and the games are moving to Steam, and I didn't even know that they had a launcher.
You and most of other people, yeah.
Fallout 76 was like you needed it, and same with Elder Scrolls Online. When Elder Scrolls Online was in beta, you needed it. So if you wanted to like pre-order Elder Scrolls, you could only do it through their browser. And so a lot of people who play Elder Scrolls Online are locked into that that launcher. And then there was like now you can play on Steam as well, but you still have to use your Bethesda account. So that's kind of the wrinkle in this, is they're getting rid of their launcher, so like the separate downloadable client. the Bethesda.net launcher, but they're keeping their account structure. So I'm assuming it'll be like Paradox, where every Paradox game you sign up your Paradox account and you get extra stuff. I'm assuming it'll be like that. So anybody because people who have the Bethesda launcher, you can link your account with your Steam account and all your stuff will migrate over for free while they sunset it. So I'm assuming like when you start up Elder Scrolls Online, you'll still use the same login and whatnot, and same with their other games.
Probably, yeah.
If you want to take part in any of their marketplaces or keep your stuff, which you want. But yeah, you can uninstall another launcher. Woo!
Yeah,
That's good.
I mean, the only game I had on there was Fallout 76, which then they already gave everybody a free Steam copy for. If you were on the Bethesda launcher, sorry.
It's good to know that they don't care about their own launcher.
Yeah. I mean, yeah, it was kind of... It was unnecessary.
Yeah, apparently it wasn't
just
worth
unnecessary. Well, for the few games that needed it, I guess. I mean, yeah, most MMOs have their own launchers, but even then, like, a lot of them are moving just to using Steam. See, Final Fantasy 14, New World, Lost Ark, they're all on Steam. Right?
Yeah.
Like, proprietary launchers for MMOs also are kind of disappearing, I think.
Hopefully.
Yep.
The next thing here we have on the news docket is TwitchCon coming back.
Yeah.
Mixed feelings.
Very mixed feelings, yeah, same.
But I decided to just do it. So I booked my accommodation and flight for Amsterdam for TwitchCon EU, which is going to happen in July, the 16th and the 17th of July. And then there is TwitchCon NA in San Diego in October. Was it 6th to 8th, I believe?
Mm-hmm.
Something.
Yeah, it checks out.
Yeah.
I'll double
Like
check.
the NA one is Friday, Saturday, Sunday, 1 day longer than the EU one.
It's always a day longer, yeah.
And I'm basically made up my mind to go there too. I'll just do it.
Yeah, I think it's a choice that everybody has to make for themselves. I have made the
7th,
choice to not
October.
risk it. But yeah, as I said, like
I'm not going to either.
Yeah, I will also wait one more year. I want to see everybody, but do I want to see everybody while constantly being worried about getting sick? No. And risking it.
I think for me, it's a few things. Thing number one, there's a very real possibility Dwarf Fortress might release in fall of this year.
I think that's a great reason.
That's thing number one. So October is suddenly a big wall of question marks for me. That's my work excuse. Second, I've never actually gotten that much out of going to conventions networking wise because so few people play the games that I play, and it's always been that way. It's always just been an excuse to hang out with friends. And up until the last TwitchCon, I had 2 incomes in my house. I'm just me right now. And so I don't know if I can reasonably afford either of these conventions this year. Because I don't have that safety net.
Yep.
I don't have a partner that I can just be like, hey, can you pay rent for 2 months so I can go to this event? So I know how much those at least San Diego costs me because I've been to San Diego twice for TwitchCons. I know how much it costs, and I know I can't afford it.
Yep.
And Amsterdam is similar. The difference with Amsterdam is it's only 2 days. So even if I were to travel, it would take me realistically probably a week to actually go to that event between just layovers and flights and whatnot and going to the event and jet lag. I don't see that being pleasant. If I were to do Amsterdam, I'd want to be in Amsterdam for a week and then also go see family.
Yeah.
So I think I'm just gonna save my pennies and try and go next year and skip San Diego next year. And just try and go to EU next year. That
sounds like a good plan.
Yeah. I think Europe is always... I've been to both once, because EU has only happened once. Europe felt a lot more it was I met cool streamers at NA, but EU was my community because my viewers were there too. Because NA, the problem is you will only have viewers. You will mostly only have viewers coming there that live close by because it's so expensive to travel from all over the US and Canada there.
There's two problems actually with TwitchCon NA.
I was just gonna say, like, whereas travel in Europe is much cheaper, so more community members go there because you can like just book a cheap flight for 60 euros if you're lucky to just city hop over. But then also, and this is my personal thing right now, if I could get maybe on a train to go to Amsterdam, which I probably actually could, I would do it, but I don't want to sit in a plane with strangers for hours, not knowing if they're sick or not. I just don't want to risk it. I'm too scared.
The issue with TwitchCon NA, and just to bounce off the viewers thing, is there's like I've been to almost every TwitchCon NA. There is nothing to do at TwitchCon NA if you're not a streamer. Yeah. It's not a convention for viewers. So the issue is there's always a few people who want to see me, but I'm always super busy because like I'm either going to meetings or going to parties or going to doing stuff, and then nobody ever gets to see me. Whereas PAX works so much better for that kind of thing. Also, there is so much stuff for people to do, and I always get so much more done at PAX. So if I'm going to go to a convention in North America, PAX West for me is just across the border. So much easier to get to. There's so much more to do in the area around PAX. There's so many more places to stay, and it's a longer convention. It's 4 days. There's a way wider variety of panels instead of just like the basic bips and bobs of how to get into streaming, which is a lot of what TwitchCon NA's panels are. So I think I've been to a total of 3 panels at TwitchCon NA ever, and one of them wasn't even related to streaming. It was a Paradox thing. So it's like there's so much more for me to do at PAX West than there is at a TwitchCon that it just makes sense for me to wait for PAX West to come back proper and go to that again. Also, I can get press badges for PAX West. So it literally costs me like $30 to take the train across the border, and then I can stay with a friend and I don't have to pay for my ticket most of the time.
That's cool.
So it's like,
do you know if that's going to happen this year?
When it comes to cost benefit analysis, it's like TwitchCon is like not on the scale currently.
Of course. Do you know if PAX is going to happen this year?
It happened last year.
Oh, well then.
So I don't know about this. I probably won't go this year, but I would go next year. I'm giving it another year for like COVID to just fizzle.
Yeah, it's a choice everybody has to make for themselves. Right.
PAX East, which didn't happen this year. I don't know.
I don't remember.
PAX East, which is in Boston, is one that a lot of that I met a lot of European viewers at. Actually, a lot of Russian viewers at. Oddly enough.
Yeah. Yeah. PAX East.
Because that's in Boston.
I was very interested. No, PAX East is apparently happening this year. I think.
Is it? Well,
yeah.
I won't go this year, but I would consider going to a PAX East instead of a TwitchCon NA. Because it costs about as much for me to go to Boston as it does for me to go to TwitchCon.
I just want to go back to Boston because I used to live in Massachusetts. I could literally go and meet up with people that I haven't seen in 20 years.
Wow.
Yeah. No, but apparently no. It is April 21st till the 24th.
Yeah, they normally do PAX East in May, so it's always freezing because it's cold as hell in Boston. But yeah, that's TwitchCon. I think I don't think we have too much more to say on conventions news.
No, that was it.
No, that's it.
We do have 2 small game announcement topics that I just kind of want to mention real quick. Steam Deck, it's for sale. You can buy it. I think.
Right, today was the day they sent out the first emails.
Did you get one?
No.
Yeah.
Oh.
So if you pre-ordered, you have a chance to maybe get one. But alongside of that, Valve announced a new game, which is Aperture Desk Job. It's controller only, but it's not like Steam Deck exclusive or anything silly. And it's just a desk management Aperture Science game, and I'm going to play it. Can't wait.
It's going to be free.
It's free.
It's going to be free as well.
It's supposedly free and short, so I will play it. Can't wait. Super excited.
It looks funny.
Yes. I mean, it better be if it's an Aperture Science related thing.
Exactly.
I'm just looking for the actual. Yeah, the release date is March 1st. So.
Oh, another game on the March 1st. Great. It's perfect.
Yeah. Although this
Well
one's short. It
defined.
says short in the tags. And then the other one is Tunic. I just kind of want to mention this one because this one has, like, I played this at PAX twice, I think. Shoutouts to Finji. This is a game made by one Canadian, and I think he's been making this one game since, like, 2014. It's Legend of Zelda, but you're a cute fox. With more engaging combat than Legend of Zelda. That's everything that I can say about that game is that. There is one wrinkle with Tunic, though, and that is... Did either of you play Fez?
Yes.
No.
I think this could be a Fez.
How so?
And if you know what that means, you know what that means. And if you don't know what that means, well...
Do you mean like...
There's weird symbols in this game that are interactable that mean nothing to the player. I'll just say that.
Oh, so you meant like... I know what you mean. Okay, yeah, got it. I understand.
This might be a Fez.
Because I was at first I was
So-
thinking like gameplay or camera wise, but you mean gameplay wise. Got it.
I mean, like, oh god, I have to replay this game 18 times and I'm still finding new stuff. Also, why is there a language that I'm now trying to decipher on a piece of paper? I think it might be one of those.
Yeah, might be.
So,
Wouldn't put it past that
that
person.
game might be exciting. That game might be exciting. As long as the developer isn't a Phil Fish, we're good.
Oh, yeah, that's not...
That's a different can of worms from a long time ago. Simpler times. But talking about simpler times, this podcast is more than a simple time length. So I think we're going to skip our question segment for this week. But if you would like to leave a question for us for next week, you can do that on the Halcyon Frequency Community Discord, which can be found through our website, halcyonfrequency.com. I think that we're wrapping up here. So, Kiri, do you want to tell us who you are and where we can find your stuff?
I'm Tutti Kiri or Kiri, and I stream on Twitch. You can also find me on YouTube, Twitter, Instagram, Patreon. I stream strategy games, lots of Total War Warhammer 3 right now, but also indie games. And I'm probably going to do a couple more, like on Sunday and Monday, more demo stuff.
And FG?
Yeah, I'm FG Squared. You can find me on Twitch, YouTube, Patreon, Instagram under that handle. Also on Twitter, but there's a sneaky underscore between the FG and the Squared. And I play a wide variety of games, both indie and not so indie, Mondays through Fridays. I am probably moving sometime next month. I don't know when, how, why. It's a mess. So there might be some days where I won't be streaming, but next week we've got lots of stuff coming up. As I said, there's like a bajillion games coming out on the 1st. Monday I will be doing more Brookhaven, which I guess is a game I'll talk about next time when we talk about what we've been playing besides demos. And Tuesday is Elix 2. That's finally coming out. I'm ready for some glorious Eurojank RPG action adventure.
That's Piranha Bytes, right?
Yes.
Elix 2?
Yes.
Yeah, the studio not to be confused with Piranha Games, right? The people who make MechWarrior online.
No, this is
Anyway,
the Risen people and all of that sort of stuff.
Yeah, the weird
And
Eurojank
Sacred.
RPG people
Yeah.
that make very ambitious games with not enough people to actually make them.
But they're still
You
so
know,
good.
I appreciate their what's the word? I don't know. I lost the word that I was looking for, but I do appreciate their enthusiasm. And I'm Blind, and you can find me at BLINDIRL on Twitch and Twitter and other places like Patreon and YouTube. And I stream a lot of Dwarf Fortress and sometimes other things. And I'm having Tarn Adams on my stream on Thursday next week after the time of recording. So that is Thursday the 3rd at 3 p.m. Pacific.
That's developer
I
of
will have
Dwarf
announcements about that
Fortress,
soon.
for those who might not know who that is.
Developer, programmer, also known as Toady1, and mathematics genius, and eccentric, amazing person to talk to. So yeah, that's that. That's me. That's us. If you want to find more episodes of this podcast, you can do that over at halcyonfrequency.com. And if you want to check us all out, you can find us via that website. Click on the little Twitch link, halcyonfrequency.com. And once again, if you would like to leave comments for us to read in question format, you can do that on our Discord, which can also be found through the website. And if you want to help this podcast out, leave us a review. It doesn't matter what platform, just leave us a review and let us know that you reviewed it. And, 5 stars for a 5-star runtime. Till next time, thank you very much for listening to this podcast. I have to try so hard to not say watching. And, you'll hear us again next week.
Goodbye.
Bye.
Bye.